Hi everybody, I'm Vittoria and I'm a project development officer for a youth NGO based in Italy. And today I'm here to talk with you about critical thinking. But I don't want to give you a definition about critical thinking. I just want to outline that it comes from awareness and knowledge. And we can define it as a process of empowerment for people. Critical thinking is the base of active participation in social life and participation to democratic processes. And that's why it's important to talk about it and to encourage and try to develop it among young people. As a youth worker, if you're talking about critical thinking, it's not possible not to mention that there is a huge gap between young people and EU institutions. So young people are not talking or acting, and basically they don't know that much about EU. Basically, there are several reasons, but the two main ones are that there's no connection between local municipalities, local context, and EU institutions, and there's no connection between education and EU institutions. So somehow in schools, students, they don't have the possibility to know more, to learn more about EU. And we somehow have to deal with this gap as youth workers to encourage critical thinking in young people about EU. So we are in a very specific historical moment with this critical point, with this huge gap between young people and EU institution, EU programs. And young people are not talking that much about Europe. There's no one teaching them what Europe is and the European strategies and policies for them, and also programs. So what we basically have to do is try to reduce this gap. And from a perspective of a youth worker, we have two really specific tools we can use. The first one is non-formal education. And somehow we have to think about rebuilding non-formal education and trying to connect it more to the needs of youngers and also their way to communicate and stay in the world. Like try to create a strong connection between non-formal education and the digital world and the social medias. And the other one is, of course, peer-to-peer education, which is most a consequence of non-formal education, and try to develop this kind of knowledge and let them teach to the others contents about Europe. So even if this is my perspective as a youth workers, as a younger, of course, for me it's really important you to listen about words said by the real younger, a girl was working in a non-profit area, and she has a very specific point of view about how EU is present and how we can rebuild trust in EU among young people.
Hi, my name is Desirè, I'm 19 and I'm from Sicily, and I'm one of the EU influencers of this project. No, at school, teachers don't talk about the EU project and the EU values. Unfortunately not. Also, the local community doesn't know how to approach with young people. Also, if young people wanted to know about this project, about the European project, but they can't have the possibility. Yeah, I do. I have experimented what is informal education on a youth exchange. I think that the best way of talking about European values is the non-formal education, because it's a simple way and also an easy way and a better way and also funny way of talking about some serious things, and it gives you the possibility of learn some new things, some important thing about the European projects. Yeah, using social media is very important because nowadays young people use a lot social media, and so social media can be a tool to spread the information of European values. Yeah, for example, I am a young person and my friends don't know the European project, and when I told them that there was this project on EU influencers, they were like, what? I didn't know nothing about European projects. And so, yeah, I think that it's a good method. Yeah, so I think that the real problem is the spread of information, because in our community, in our local community, there is no information about European community. So I think that in my community, we need some local events. For example, we need more information at schools. So we need more teachers to teach, in fact, what European community is. And also it means a place, an office to teach European community values.